Hello, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Leonie. I am your faculty advisor from the business school. I actually specialise in accounting and finance, economics and business management. Today, we have a very special guest. His name is Jason from CIMA. Before I go on to introduce him, he'll take over and tell you a little bit about the opportunities that are available and a little bit about his organisation. I'm just going to tell you a bit about me for those students that haven't been able to engage with me. So just moving on to my next slide. Just in terms of these circumstances with COVID-19, these are really challenging times. And we will be doing lots of webinars, especially for finance and accountancy students, also economics and business management. We'll be doing a lot of webinars like this in terms of helping you increase your employability skills. We will have employers on board as well, such as Jason and other organisations, so you can actually get an advanced outlook in terms of opportunities that are available to you as well. If you have any questions at the end of the session, during the session, you can type in the chat box, which should be to the right of your screen, and we will answer any kind of questions that you do have during our presentation, and I hope you enjoy it. In terms of the employability service, what we offer is tailored support. So just in terms of, some of you guys may have been on campus previous to COVID-19, and now we are working completely online. What I can actually provide is one-to-one online support as well. So if you guys are trying to do any applications, or you're a little bit stuck on terms of what you want to do with your career, you may have just graduated, or you might be looking for an internship or a placement, I am here to provide one-to-one support. You can actually access those one-to-one support appointments online. So if you actually go to Uni Help, and going back to my first slide here at the bottom, this link at the bottom actually takes you straight to the bookings page, where you'll be able to book a direct appointment with me as well. Some of you may be having interviews, and if you are successful enough to be having interviews as well, again, I can provide one-to-one support with your video interviews as well. We have a lot of resources, and we've also delivered previous webinars in regards to how you go about video interviews as well. In terms of COVID-19, this is the time to really focus on kind of some of your strengths and weaknesses. We are actually moving into kind of more of a digital age. So it's really important for you guys to make sure that you have some kind of online presence, that you do engage as well with some of these webinars that we're delivering, where employers like we have here today will be telling you about the webinars they're delivering and some of the services they can offer you as well. So we do the pop-ups every single week, usually is on a Thursday, but on the link that you guys have logged into, it actually takes you to any of the webinars we're having on a weekly basis. So just make sure that you're able to get involved as well, and this will help enhance your skills. And just to let you all know, as long as you're staying safe, just want you to know that the support is there for you. Okay, so back to what we're doing today. As I said, I'm going to introduce Jason. He is from CIMA. He's going to go through his organisation, what they offer, and some of the opportunities and further training that you can actually tune into. So I'm going to pass you over to Jason.
Thank you very much. Okay, so I'll start with this slide, and then I'm going to flick off and I'm going to show you this website. So as an introduction, my name is Jason Nye, and I work for an organisation called CIMA, Chartered Institute of Management Accountants. So if you are accounting and is this just accounting and finance, Leonie, or is this a mix across the?
It's actually a mix. So it will be mainly economics, finance and accountancy, also some of our banking students and business management as well.
Perfect. So so if you're accounting and finance, business accounting, maybe even some of the banking and finance students, you may have met me before because I come on campus to do quite a few sessions. But my role is to really promote careers in finance with the CIMA qualification. So we work with a huge range of employers around the world that have graduate opportunities, internships, placements, where when you go into their organizations, into a finance analyst role, as an example, maybe as a consultant, they will train you to do the CIMA qualification. So I'm sort of the middleman. I share their jobs with you, and I support you in finding those jobs. And to help me do my job, I work very closely on the platform that you can see here called the CIMA Grad Club, and the CIMA Grad Club is our free careers resource. So, in essence, what is this? It's the home of where we post all of our live jobs. So even during the current pandemic, every single week we're posting new jobs. Again, these are finance internships, placements, and graduate opportunities. All of the graduate opportunities offer sponsorship to undertake the CIMA qualification so you can become a chartered global management accountant. But the second thing on the Grad Club is actually the support to navigate the recruitment process, because I fully appreciate how challenging that is. There's lots of elements that you have to go through, from video interviews to psychometric tests to assessment centres and so on and so forth. So that's really what our graduate club's for. The Grad Club's there to help and support you with jobs and also supporting you to get through the process. So I'll very quickly start by sharing this with you. So ignore that for a minute. I know you're probably seeing millions of screens, but hopefully you can see the Grad Club now. Can you see that, Leonie?
Yes, I can.
Perfect. Okay, so this is what the Grad Club looks like. It's free for you to sign up at any time, so feel free. But I just very quickly wanted to show you some of the main things that are on there. Probably the main area is going to be the Careers Hub. And the Careers Hub is where we post all of our live vacancies. So you can see here, finance intern, e-commerce finance intern, lots of internships on there, finance assistant roles, trainee accountant roles, apprenticeships, sandwich placement years. You can see there's a finance analyst management development program, and so on and so forth. You can see a graduate finance program there with ASOS. And if you click through, it will take you to more jobs. So that's the first thing that we do. We actively go out and work with our partners who are looking to recruit people that are interested in going into careers in finance and business and accountancy, and we post the jobs onto the Grad Club. The second most valuable area personally that I would recommend is our video library. So we host webinars every month, but we also produce videos to help you with the recruitment process. So we've got things on here like a virtual open day we hosted just this week. We've got sessions on here about psychometric tests. There's me. I did a video about video interviews, so actually preparing you for that process. There's also a whole webinar on video interviews that you can access, and there's lots more. I won't go through everything right now, but you can see there's a discussion there where I spoke about how COVID-19 is going to impact your job search and what you can be doing to really maximize your time that you have at the moment. Personal skills reflection. Breaking down the recruitment process was another one. So if you really want an insight into all of the different elements of the recruitment process and applying that, sorry, I've got an installation failing, applying that to a real life opportunity, that's what I've done in that session there. So we used a real life graduate program and I approached it as if I was applying to that company. So doing my research into the recruitment process, researching the company, the industry, and a lot more. So there's loads more on there. There's things on LinkedIn. So Leonie was talking about, having an online presence. We've got a whole session on that. We've got a session about commercial awareness, interview success, and loads more. So hopefully you can see some of the benefits on the Grad Club for you to access. There's lots more. There's blogs. There's information about studying the CIMA qualifications. There's case studies from CIMA members and a lot more. So I'll leave that there on the Grad Club. And I'm going to quickly now bring up this page. Can you see this now okay?
Yes.
So that's the Grad Club, and this is where you can sign up, gradclub.cimaglobal.com. So in terms of CIMA, CIMA is we're a chartered global management accounting qualification, but we're not a traditional accounting qualification. So we don't train you to work in areas like audit or taxation. We are very much pretty much more a finance qualification for business. So we do teach you the fundamentals of accountants because understanding and having an expertise in numbers is always going to benefit you. But what we do is we combine that with a broader business understanding. And what our role is as management accountants is actually to help businesses make better decisions. So we are, in essence, their financial advisors. We look at the financial, we put that into context with the non-financial information, and we use that to drive efficient and effective business decisions to actually drive performance and add value to organizations. So with that in mind, we work with a range of companies, as you can see here, because we're a finance qualification for business. you typically find CIMA people working in finance departments of organizations. And we work across all industries and all sectors, as you can see here. So whether you're interested in financial services, whether you're interested in retail and fashion, whether you're interested in, working in the public sector for the NHS, you can have those opportunities with CIMA where you work for those organizations and they will sponsor you to do our qualification. So lots and lots of varied opportunities depending on where you would like to work. And I think that's quite important of choosing companies that have a product, a service, or a vision that really resonates with you as an individual. And in terms of CIMA, what we've been doing over the last year or so is we've tried to innovate a lot more what we've been doing. So in line with the innovations of technology within business, we've actually updated our qualification and we've added a lot more of a digital focus within that. So well as understanding about business strategy, accounting, finance, we also now teach you about automation, blockchain, cybersecurity, data analytics, data strategy. So all of these new technological advances that you will have to face when you go into the working world. That's all part of our qualification. Another thing that we've done is we've removed the fees for exemptions. So if you're familiar with professional qualifications, particularly in accounting and finance, you typically, if you've studied a relevant degree, like all of you would have done, you can bypass some of our exams because you've studied the equivalent during your time at university. Now, historically, you would be charged to pass those exams. So even if you don't have to sit them, we would charge you to bypass them. And now CIMA have become the first accounting and finance body to actually remove any fees for exemptions. And this is very much focused on us trying to encourage accessibility into the qualification to let anyone, regardless of financial burdens, to actually start the qualification on their road to becoming a chartered global management accountant. The other thing that we've done finally, and this is in direct reaction to the current pandemic and COVID-19, is we now offer exams from home. So again, if people are graduating, they're looking to maximize their summer and do something over this summer, you can actually start to study your CIMA qualification and sit your exams from home. So we have online invigilation where you can sit your exams, or you can now start to go back to exam centers because some exam centers are starting to reopen. So we are innovating a lot that we do to offer real value to any students that are interested in the qualification. Again, I'm not going to go into too much detail about this today because I appreciate we haven't got a lot of time and I do want to leave a lot of time for questions, but I'll send Leonie these slides and a copy of our brochure so you can read more about the qualification. But because I'm talking to students from accounting, management, economics, all of these different programs, you will find that you've studied some of the CIMA content within your qualification. So all of you will be eligible for some form of exemptions. So as an example, what we will do is we'll look at what degree you have. So if you are an economics student, as an example, you can receive 4 exemptions from CIMA. If you are studying business accounting, you're eligible for 8 exemptions from CIMA. If you are accounting and finance, which we've got on the screen here, you're eligible for up to 10 exemptions. So what you're studying at Middlesex is extremely relevant to your future careers if you're interested in studying CIMA and going into a finance-based role. And again, how this works is once you've completed your degree, you submit a copy of your degree certificate and we will award you those exemptions. So you're actually a part way through the qualifications on your way to fully qualifying. And like I said, these exemptions are free of charge. And you can start studying immediately and start to sit those exams from home. So there's no barriers currently, even with COVID-19, to you progressing. And this is a particular element. Well, these are some of the benefits of you studying with CIMA. So once you're registered with CIMA, there's lots of benefits. Now, if you're an accounting and finance student at Middlesex or business accounting, you have already been registered with CIMA. So as part of our university partnership that we have with Middlesex, all accounting and finance and business accounting students are already registered with CIMA during your degree. So if you're not aware of your login details or how to access that, please speak to your support team on the degree programs and they'll be able to find your CIMA ID so you can access that. Because there's lots of benefits, as you can see here. You can add this to your CV. You can say that you're a CIMA student. You can add it to your LinkedIn profile. So when you're applying to jobs, you're demonstrating to employers that you are affiliated with the professional qualification that they're going to be offering you. But there's lots of other things that we do, from employability webinars to providing you with relevant research to what's happening within the industry, podcasts and videos, events, all online at the moment, of course, magazines, and a lot more. So you get to utilize all of these benefits. And what it also means with free exemptions, and you've already been registered, the next thing that you have to pay is going to be your first exam. So at least it's going to be something that's going to be really beneficial to you, starting that first exam and then making and progressing you through the qualification. The main thing to cover today before we go to Q&A, and people can ask me anything about CIMA, exemptions, recruitment process, anything you want. These are some of the steps that you can take. So the first step is to register. Now, the reason I've got already registered there is because this was related to accounting and finance and business accounting. But if you are interested in CIMA and you're studying economics or finance and banking, whatever that may be, you can go onto our website, cimaglobal.com, and you can register. Once you've registered, you then apply for your exemptions. So again, if you're just about to graduate, you may have to wait until July just to get your official sign off, and then you can apply for your exemptions for free of charge. Once you've done that, you can choose how you want to study. So CIMA is very flexible. You can go to classes, but there's lots of free online materials to get you going and starting to study towards the qualification. And then, of course, you can book your exam. And again, we're very flexible. So lots of our exams are on demand because they're computer based. So there's not a specific exam date that you have to go and sit. You can actually, there's very flexible in how you pick and choose those. And again, like I said, you can go to an exam center or you can sit those exams from home. So that's completely up to you. I'm just going to stop sharing that. That's the main things that I wanted to share with you all. And like I said, I think the key takeaways from me is, number one, if you are looking for opportunities, the CIMA Grad Club, again, you can Google that and you can register for free. It's free for you to access, and we will upload jobs on there every single week for you. Like I said, lots of opportunities. Whether you're first year, second year, or final year, there's going to be lots of relevant jobs that you can go on and access. And every month, we are uploading new employability-focused content on there. So rest assured, there will always be new content, from videos to blogs to articles, to actually help you on your career journey. So that is my very brief overview. I know we've got not a lot of time, but like I said, I will share the slides. I will share a brochure with you with more information on CIMA. Has anyone got any questions at all? I don't know if there's any come in since... Our
postgrad degrees are weighted more in exemptions than undergrad, and then an MSc in economics.
So yeah, it's a good question, Joshua. The answer is yes, potentially dependent on the degree specialization. So yeah, so what the team would do in that case with, say, an MSc in economics is they would look at what you've studied during that program, and if there's more relevance because you've studied, significantly higher level of knowledge from what you did at an undergrad, then you can potentially get some more exemptions. But absolutely, yeah, there's lots of master's programs that have beyond 10 exemptions into 11 and more.
Okay. I'm not sure if we have any other questions.
I've just seen one come in there as well. So somebody's asked, can you begin studying the CIMA qualification if you've just finished your first year? The answer is yes. And it's quite amazing because you would think, wow, people, they're studying their degree. Surely they've got enough on their plate. But we do find actually quite a large number of students that start studying their CIMA qualification alongside their degree because they're looking to upskill and they're looking to add something more to their CV. So yes, the answer is yes, you can absolutely do that. You can register. Like I said, if you're accounting and finance and business accounting, you're already registered for your degree. So you can start studying and you can start booking exams really at any time. So absolutely, yes, you can do that. And if you want to find out more, please reach out to me after this session.
Okay, do we have any other questions?
Yeah, I've got one here. So I'm a student going into my final year. I've got no relevant work experience within the financial sector. Is there anything I can do this summer to boost my employability? So that's a really good question. The first thing that I will say is I appreciate that having relevant work experience is an added bonus if you've got it. But there are, there's thousands of students that go into the graduate job market or go into their final year without any work experience. The first thing that I want to say is a large percentage of graduate programs and graduate opportunities that I see typically don't necessarily need you to have any relevant work experience. What they will be looking for are particular skills and competencies, and I think that's the most important piece. So some things that you would already know about, right? Your communication skills, your teamwork, your time management, your leadership skills. This is what a lot of the job market is focused on. In addition to the skills and competencies, a thing that's really pressing for employers now is it's sort of your passion and your drive to want to work for a particular organization and in a particular role. So doing your research to choose the right companies to demonstrate that passion of why you've chosen that business is going to be important. But a thing that I like to talk to students about, and I say, is that any life experience is good experience. And when I say that, is things like your communication skills, your leadership, your time management skills, all of these sort of generic people skills, you can develop them in any walk of life. So whether that is work, relevant, it can be relevant work, for example, in finance, but it could be part-time work. You may be working in a retail store, you may be working in a factory. You can still be developing those skills. If you are part of a sports team, you play sports at the weekend, maybe you organize music events. So there's lots of things that you can be doing to develop those skills. You might be a blogger, you might be a YouTuber. These are all great examples of where you can demonstrate skills to employers in a unique way, but also you show a bit of your personality as well as part of that. So in terms of what you can be doing over the summer, what I would recommend is come September, this is as somebody going into their final year, going into September, October, November, typically, we'll see what happens with COVID-19, but typically all of the graduate opportunities will be open. So you're actually going to be applying at the beginning of your final year. So what I would be doing now is I will be researching who do I want to apply for come September, October, which companies, what sectors, and then I would be identifying those skills, what I spoke about, what skills do they want for this job? What sort of competencies does this business want? And then I will start to think about where have I developed these skills? And secondly, where can I develop those skills? So are there any opportunities for me, like volunteering at the moment, doing some part-time work to actually develop the skills that employers are looking for? And the other thing that I would be doing is I would be preparing for the recruitment process. So it's probably quite likely that you may have to do psychometric tests. If it's going to be a financial role, you're most likely going to have to do some kind of numerical psychometric tests. So I would be researching it. I'd be preparing for them. So again, on the Grad Club, not just to plug it, but I've done a whole session on that. So go and have a look at that. You may have to, it's quite likely that you're going to have to do a video interview. So I would be doing my research again, and I'd be preparing for video interviews. So what's the difference between a face-to-face and a video interview? Well, some of them may be pre-recorded. So I need to understand how am I going to approach a pre-recorded video interview. So that's what I would be doing over the summer. If I'm going into my final year and I'm in lockdown, I can't go and enjoy myself as much as I'd like to. Let me think of ways that I can maximize my CV, my employability. So when it comes to the autumn, the start of the final year, I'm going to be absolutely prepared and ready for this recruitment process.
Jason, can I just follow up from your points as well? Really valid points that Jason just made as well. And one thing I think that you guys should also take advantage of is understanding how to articulate your skills and how, some of the competencies that employers are looking for. So a lot of students, especially in the application process or even during your video interviews, the key thing is knowing how to articulate those skills, being able to talk about a situation that you've been in and what type of action you've taken and what kind of result that gave you as well. So the employer knows exactly the type of process that you take when you're demonstrating a skill as well. So I think in terms of the one-to-one support that's available and, the contacts that we have with organizations such as Jason as well, just making sure that you speak to people and practice articulating that as well in terms of the sector that you might want to go into. Sorry, Jason, you can go.
No, exactly. And that's one thing. Thank you for reminding me is, look, you've got people like Leonie here that is what they're here to do. They're here to help you prepare for that process. So I would definitely make sure that you utilize that service, because that will be so invaluable for you to get that practice. Practicing for some of these things is so important, rather than going in completely blind and not doing well. So yeah, absolutely make use of all of the resources. I've seen somebody's asked, I'm from international business management, so I'm assuming they're asking around CIMA and exemptions. So yeah, again, business management is covered within the CIMA qualification. So you would receive some exemptions as well. I think it's about 4. So you'll be able to find that on the website. So you can, if you're interested in finance, you're interested in business, then absolutely you can come into the CIMA qualification. Another question is, how do we apply for exemptions? We have not got our certificate yet. So if you are a year 1, year 2, and you're looking to study CIMA, currently you wouldn't get your exemptions, but what people do is you can go and study 1 or 2 exams whilst you're at university. And if you sit one of the exams whilst you're at university, once you graduate and you get your exemptions, you actually get an award, a certificate for sitting that exam. So if you just bypass certain levels without exemptions, you won't get the physical qualification that we have at our different levels. But if you sit one exam and then apply for your exemptions at a later date, you actually get a standalone qualification. So you sort of get dual awards upon completion. Having said that as well, for the autumn, we're also looking at offering conditional exemptions to students. So that may be happening come September, October, where we will award your exemptions early to allow you to start to progress through the CIMA qualification beforehand. Who do we ask to find out about our CIMA ID? So I assume you're accounting and finance or business accounting. You can either email me after today. Hopefully you've got my details. If not, if you speak to one of the, I can't remember what they're called now. Are they the coordinators for the different programs? I can't remember what their official details are. But there are sort of academic coordinators, I think they're called, for each program. So if you can go and speak to the person for your degree, business accounting or accounting and finance, they'll be in contact with me, so we'll be able to sort that out. Another question, is there a cost to study and take exams? Yes, there is. So there's a registration fee. Exemptions are free, but you do have to pay for your exams. So that's where your cost comes in. There can be a cost to study. So there is a lot of free study resource at the moment online. There are some providers that are offering taster courses as well, so 5-day courses for free that you can access. But at some point, there may be a cost to you. But also on the flip side of that, if you apply for some of the graduate opportunities with our employer partners that offer CIMA, then there is no cost to you personally. That's part of your job package, as it were. So you will work for an employer full-time, earn a full-time wage, and they will then sponsor you to do the CIMA qualification. So in theory, it may not cost you anything unless you want to start yourself to add that to your CV. But like I said, all of this information, I'll send the brochure so everyone can receive that, so you'll get a bit more information. Can a master's student join the CIMA Grad Club? Absolutely. So that's relevant to master's students as well. All of those jobs you can still apply for as master's students, and the recruitment process is going to be exactly the same. So yeah, feel free to make an application and sign up to the Grad Club. Any more questions at all? If we've got enough time, maybe one more. If not, then I can.
Yash, said hello.
Hello, Yash.
No question. Oh, there's
okay.
one.
Wow. Okay, I'll quickly fly through these because I know you need a minute at the end, don't you?
Yeah.
So I'm a business management student from Middlesex. I've just completed my first year and I'm confused in what I should choose for my second year, finance or marketing. That is completely up to you, Yash. I suppose it comes down to what would you prefer to study? What interests you more after your first year? Is it finance? Is it marketing? If you're not sure, and say, for example, you choose finance and you find out in the long term that's not the career that I want to go into, that is not necessarily an issue. You find with finance graduate opportunities, lots of employers say we want people from any discipline typically. So I wouldn't worry too much if you choose to make a decision that maybe is not your long-term goal. But just think about what you enjoy the most now, and that hopefully will guide you to choosing either of the options. But the good thing about finance, personally, I would say, is every business needs finance people. Every business needs finance skills to help them function in good and in bad times. So bear that in mind. It's always a good skill to have financial numerical knowledge. Absolutely. somebody said, Hussein said, so if I take an exemption, do I receive the operational level then? Hussein, I don't know if you've got my details. If you can email me afterwards, just I don't know if that's specific. I don't know what degree that you're studying. So we can maybe pick that up afterwards if that's okay. Somebody asked about my contact details. What I'll do is when I send the slides to Leonie, I'll add my contact details to the end, my LinkedIn profile. If anyone wants to reach out to me personally or connect with me on LinkedIn, feel free to do that as well. So I do post lots of content on LinkedIn for students, so specifically for you around jobs, around employability, around finance. So you're more than welcome to connect with me if you feel that will be beneficial. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Jason. That was amazing. Thank you.
Cheers.
Let's go over to the other slides. All right. So, guys, I hope you found that very useful. I know that I did. In terms of Jason's details, I will be sending out a follow-up email to all of you in regards to this session today. So if you have any more questions or you need to contact Jason directly as well, then you can use that email to get the details. So just to quickly go over a few things that MDX are doing at the moment, and just to point out some of our resources. In terms of things that you should be asking yourself right now in quarantine is what are your long-term goals? What experience do you have, or what experience do you need to gain? What resources do you need? So something like this in terms of these types of webinars, employer engagement, having that kind of support will put you in a position to make short to long-term goals as well. So these are some of the things after this session is finished, maybe you might want to sit down and maybe just note down things that you've taken away from this and what kind of actions you might want to take. And you can always contact me as well if you need to do a one-to-one. I'm sure you all know about Unitemps as well, so I'm just kind of throwing it out there in terms of what we do as a service if you don't know already. So we have Unitemps that provide part-time work for students that is still in operation, even though we're in quarantine. So if you have any questions, then you can contact my colleagues, Clemente and Claire as well. We also have a few opportunities which we do advertise on our website, which is at mdxworks.com. So they cover all faculty. So whether you're in the business school or you're from health and education, you can access all our opportunities. Again, I would say if you want to apply for anything, make sure that you get in contact with one of the advisors. Even if you're confident in your application, make sure you get in contact with myself or somebody else just to look over your application, seeing that you're answering the questions right, that you're articulating yourself right as well, and that we can give you further support through the recruitment process. So it's a very difficult time right now. So what I'm trying to say to you is don't try and do everything yourself. The support is there for you. A few other things that I want to cover, if I can go to the next slide, but there are no other slides that I can see. Let me just try and go over. Okay, there's nothing there. Okay, so guys, thank you for being here today. As I said, there will be a follow-up email. If you have any more questions, you can email me directly. My email address is l.jackson@mdx.ac.uk. But again, I will still be in contact with you all. Have a great week ahead. Thank you to Jason once again for your amazing presentation, all the information and resources that you've given us. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you. Take care, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.